Conversation, son. I recorded your first conversation. Cordial, decent, respectful, integrity. You make a video and you start editing things in a way to try and portray people in a certain light. I see your game, son. So let's get to the content.
Okay. Did he edited something? What did he edit?
And this is Rusty's showing a drama queen looking to stir up drama.
No, you said that he edited videos in a way that was misleading, and so I'm just wondering what.
Listen, Rusty, so your content and your channel is nothing but drama, right? So whatever. I don't even know why you're involved in this discussion.
Well, I'm trying to figure out if it's upward accelerating or upward constant. Isn't that why we're here?
See, I'll tell you something. See, if the Earth was accelerating, you could not leave the Earth's surface doing a steady 1 miles per hour and achieve distance between you and the Earth's surface if the Earth was accelerating. It's that simple. So there's nothing to discuss, but carry on.
Okay, so you're saying if you're in an accelerated reference frame, you can't move up at a constant rate inside that accelerated reference frame?
Listen, Jason, if the flow's constantly gaining velocity and you're on that floor, the minute you leave the surface of that floor and you're moving at 1 miles per hour, how are you going to gain the added velocity that the reference frame is going to move at?
Okay, so you're in a reference frame accelerating. You know that it's accelerating, or you just feel a force underneath you?
If there's an accelerating reference frame underneath you, if it was the case that it's gaining constant velocity and you remove yourself from it in a steady 1 miles per hour to try and move away from it, you're never going to move away from it.
Okay, if you're in an accelerated reference frame, say you're in a rocket, say you're in a drag car accelerating, you don't think that you can move something at a constant speed inside that reference frame, inside a drag race car?
If it's gaining velocity continually.
Okay, relative to the reference frame that's accelerating, you can go a constant. The total would be still an acceleration.
Sorry? Listen, are you professing or claiming that the reference frame is gaining velocity exponentially?
Yes, that's what everything shows.
Right. So how can you then achieve motion away from it at a steady, constant rate if it's constantly gaining speed behind you?
Okay, if you accelerate a bottle of... The point is, the acceleration of the reference frame is just the reference frame. Anything inside the reference frame is different. So if I have an elevator inside of a rocket ship accelerating, the elevator can still move at a constant speed inside the reference frame. Yes,
Jason, and that's where you went wrong when you took the snippet from my video. You then showed an apparatus like a pulley system connected to the reference frame. It's not what I was talking about.
Well, is that still something that is moving at a constant speed inside an accelerated reference frame or not?
Was that the point I made in my video, Jason?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
No, it's not what you're trying to figure out, mate. You never came in a discussion with me. You never came and asked me the questions. You just made assertions. Okay? Now, the point I was making is if you're in a reference frame that's gaining velocity continually and you're on that and you move away at 1 miles per hour, you're never going to get away from it because it's going to keep catching up to you.
So an accelerated reference frame, you know that you're accelerated if you're inside the frame, or you're just feeling a force underneath you?
If there's a constant increase in velocity, Jason, and you try and move away from that surface that's gaining in velocity exponentially, you're going to have to keep gaining more and more velocity to escape that. How can you be a mechanic and not comprehend that?
It doesn't make any sense, Dell. How you say...
Wow. Jason, if you've got a velocity that's constantly increasing and you're on that surface and you try and move away from that surface, you're going to have to go at a faster velocity to escape the surface.
Dell, you're trying to move outside the reference frame. You're trying to take the total of the reference frame and add it to something inside the reference frame and act like you have to fight that acceleration.
Right. So let's say I'm standing in a reference frame right now that started at 0 and it's on its way to whatever and it's gaining velocity continually, right? Now, the point that I leave the surface of that is the speed that I had with the reference frame. Now, unless I want, if I want to escape that reference frame, I'm going to need to go faster than the reference frame.
Okay, but all you know is that you're moving at a constant relative to the reference frame. You don't know what the reference frame is doing outside of you, and the only way you're going to be on the ground inside the reference frame is if it's accelerating.
Let's stop here, because this is the point in contention. Are you claiming that the Earth can be accelerating, i.e. gaining velocity?
Well, what is a force? Can you have acceleration without a force? Can you have force not causing an acceleration?
You want to go right to the start, and we'll figure out what a force is. Is that what you want to do?
Well, I mean, we got to start somewhere.
Right.
I mean,
well, if you want to start,
what isn't it?
Let's get first principles and establish what a force is.
Okay, let's go.
Right. Okay. So, what's a force, Jason?
A force is something applied to an object to make it move.
Something that causes change.
Causes change in motion. Yes.
Okay. So force would be something that's in motion.
Could be in motion. I mean.
Right. So we'll simplify it. Something that causes change.
Okay.
Right. Now what?
Okay. So you've got a force. You have a force underneath your feet. Do you feel it?
There's pushing you on you right now.
Yeah. So would the Earth moving at a constant speed give you weight?
With inertia as an attribute, yes.
Well, inertia is resistance to change in motion. If you're going at a constant speed, then you're not changing motion.
What is inertia, Jason?
Inertia is, in my opinion, is our mass. It's our resistance to change in motion.
So mass alone has the ability to resist.
Well, I don't think that. I think that there has to be a resistance in, say, like the medium that has to causes our weight. Everybody has different weight. Everybody has different mass. So it's definitely intrinsic to the object or the individual.
So is it your worldview that mass is the resistance to motion is caused by the mass itself?
Yes.
So would you then be of the same ilk to say that mass can move by itself?
No.
So mass can't move by itself, but it can resist by itself?
Yes.
How did you come to that, Jason?
Say if I accelerate, if I accelerate anything, if I accelerate against, say I'm trying to say, if I'm sitting in a car, say I'm sitting in a car, but I'm accelerating upwards, since you don't like the lateral explanations. If I'm accelerating upward in a car, the only time I get resistance, or if I'm going at a constant speed, I don't get resistance to anything unless I'm accelerating. So constant speed doesn't give you resistance.
So what you're saying to me is, if I've got a weight in my hand and I move it up at a constant, I don't feel it resisting?
Well, you're already going at an accelerated rate. The Earth is already going accelerated rate. That's why you're standing on the ground. You're resisting the push. You're resisting the acceleration.
So Jason, you're just going to jump around to make me a firm statement that the Earth's accelerating, and you've never demonstrated that?
Well, you said yourself that accelerometers detect change in motion, detect acceleration. When an accelerometer sits on the ground, it's detecting a constant motion or not?
Well, is the weight constant?
Your weight is constant when you're standing on the ground, because the weight, there's a constant acceleration, a rate, a 1g.
Where did you establish that there was a constant acceleration, i.e. the reference frame is gaining in velocity? How did you establish any of that, Jason?
But you never get any kind of increase in weight with a constant velocity. There's no forces acting on anything moving at a constant speed.
Jason, you don't get a constant weight with a constant increase in velocity, mate. Well, if I move upwards right now at a steady rate upwards, my weight remains constant. If I had a 10 kilogram weight in my hand right now and it registered 10 kilogram and I accelerated it up, there's an increase in resistance in what we call weight increases through acceleration. So you don't get a constant of weight through acceleration. You get an increase in the resistance, an increase in weight when acceleration's at play.
You get a resistance to the rate of acceleration. So if there's a rate, okay, did you watch my test?
I watched your examples, Jason.
The examples? Okay, you see the one where the scale and the accelerometer are both moving up, and the scale, it changed weight a little bit with acceleration, but stayed constant at that constant acceleration.
Yes, because these tests that you're running, it's like you're not running them with different variables, Jason, because at the initial start, the initial point of the motion, there's a massive increase because that's the initial acceleration. Then the rest of it looks pretty steady to me. So what I would do was scale it up so that rate of acceleration was greater, right, and greatly amplified. So if you've ever experienced like some of these fairground rides, like it's 2 bungee cords and you're in a little cage and they release it and it accelerates it up, right? That's a proper acceleration where you do feel an increase in your weight, okay? So, and the same again, I can sit here with a scale in my hand right now with a 10 kilogram weight on it and accelerate it up and witness the increase in what we call weight, the resistance. Now, if I keep it there and I move it up at a steady rate, it remains consistent. So you can't demonstrate a consistent weight with actual acceleration. I can show you it with constant.
I think my test showed a constant weight with an acceleration.
Jason, before the test started, the weight was registering, and as it started accelerating, it went up in its weight.
Okay.
So what are you talking about?
But also, whenever you're in the elevator, your weight goes up once you start to move. Then the elevator goes at a constant speed, and your weight goes down to back to what it was normally.
Yes, because at the point of motion, there was an initial acceleration which registers, and when it goes back to the constant, then your weight's constant again.
Okay, so constant speed will give you weight. Constant speed is what gives you weight. That's what you're saying? Constant speed will give you weight?
In these scenarios, yes.
No, I'm talking about right now. Your weight is caused by a constant speed.
Jason, there's inertia. I've made my position very clear.
Okay, so your constant, your weight is caused by the resistance to a constant speed? So that would be an acceleration downward.
If I've got a weight on a scale right now and it registers a constant, okay, now if I accelerate that scale, that weight in any direction, I get an increase in what we call weight. So when the acceleration's at play, the weight increases.
But he proved that it doesn't with his test. Do you want to watch the test really quick?
Run the test and let's see the weight go up as it accelerates. Carry on.
No, it doesn't go up. That's the point.
Show the test. Show it.
Move up in weight, but then stays constant as it's still accelerating.
Yes, because see if Jason had actually done the test properly and constantly gained velocity, you would see the weight constantly gaining as the velocity went up.
You can watch the accelerometer. It's still accelerating and the weight is constant.
Is it accelerating, Jason?
What's that?
It's accelerating, is it?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Watch it.
Huh?
Mm-hmm. Watch the accelerometer and watch the scale.
Right, okay. Watch where the plunger is at number 6.
Yeah, it went from 600 grams to 700 grams. Stayed at 700 grams, the whole acceleration up.
Right. Let's see it. Let's see a bigger acceleration over a bigger distance, Jason, and let's see what happens.
Yeah, okay, I did it like 5 feet, then you said more. I did it 20 feet. How far do you want to go?
Show the detail.
Watch, it'll go slow motion here in a second. You can watch it closely.
We can watch it. We can see the increase. We can all see the increase. Proving my point. Oh, look at that. An increase. Wow.
I saw it stay at 7. I don't know.
It stayed at 7 as it was accelerating. Right. The initial movement caused it to gain weight. Like acceleration is going to add weight. If you accelerate, it's going to add weight, but it's going to stay constant if the acceleration is constant.
Oh, so your acceleration is not a constant increase in velocity then, Jason?
Yes, it's a constant rate of velocity change, a constant rate of acceleration.
So not an exponential one?
Well, it's 9.8, like say the gravity model is 9.8 meters per second. So
is that what you're basing things on, Jason, this value of 9.8 meters per second?
I mean, that's what I'm referring it to.
Why?
Why?
Why are you referring to 9.8 meters per second?
Well, that's just the agreed average that things fall in like a vacuum.
Well, is it? So things are falling now?
Well, the rate at which the ground meets the object.
See if I'm only optically observing 2 points of reference, Jason, and one slows down as one keeps its velocity. See the one that's slowing down, you can denote that it's increasing its velocity in the opposite direction because you're not accounting for the rate that you were moving at and you're constant. So
an accelerometer picks that up?
What do you mean, the accelerometer? A digital one with numbers on the screen?
No, well, any kind of spring.
Well, if I calibrate a spring from free fall where it's no compressed and I set it on the table, it compresses to a constant. Okay,
so you're saying that any acceleration has to have displacement, right? That's what you've said numerous times. If it's slowing down and decelerating, why is it not displaced?
Because it's not a force acting, it's not a force that's in motion that's acting on it.
So we have to add a force to it now. So only a deceleration with a force?
Jason, you're just acting like a little fucking troll, son. This is not the recording I had with you before. No, you're just
right. No, because you came in hot. You came in insulting anybody that questioned your narrative.
No,
Jason, bullshit. You saw my video. My video.
Yes.
It was taking your words, insulting anybody that came in with a differing opinion about what's going on.
No, that's not my attitude.
Yep. No, you said anybody. These guys that come here are looking to cause.
Listen,
go ahead,
I do not deliberately go to insult people. Okay, not once did I do that. So show me where I done it.
He made a video.
It's in this video. It's in this video.
Show me the part where it says if you have a different opinion from me.
You said that anybody's coming in saying it's an acceleration is a moron.
Yes, because of this simple point, Jason. If you're on a frame of reference that's constantly gaining velocity, you have to gain more velocity to escape it. That's a fact.
Okay, maybe absolute velocity, but you don't know that you're gaining that velocity. You're just inside a reference frame.
So how does the inanimate matter gain its velocity?
With a force.
Well, you've left the reference frame surface. The solid cannot push on you anymore. So as I leave the solid surface, I have to constantly gain more than the surface is coming to catch me. So where does it get us? Where do you get the power? How does the matter know that that's how it's to behave?
With whatever force. How do you? Are you saying that you can't use a force to gain velocity?
Listen, son, if you're standing on the earth, the solid earth's pushing on you. If you remove yourself from the solid, the air cannot push on you because you're more dense. Okay? Now, in order for you to keep gaining velocity, there would have to be another force gaining your velocity as you add your 1 miles per hour so that you can escape the velocity of the earth behind you. So where does that come from in your worldview?
Wait, you have that same problem in a constant moving earth then?
How? Because inertia.
What are you pushing? If the earth isn't there, what are you pushing off of?
The earth in my postulation is moving at a constant. The reason I know it's moving at a constant is because I can move off the earth at 1 miles per hour and increase the distance between me and the surface, going at a constant.
Okay, tell me how many miles per hour you have to go to gain weight. What's going to give you any weight?
So let's not run away from this point.
No, this is the base premise. The base premise is weight.
Right now, listen,
you're saying you have weight because of a constant velocity. I disagree with that. I think you can't prove that.
Keep misrepresenting me, Jason. That's great, son. Keep showing us your misrepresentations. Everybody that watches knows clearly that I've stated there's two constants: the motion and the resistance.
If the motion is constant and the resistance is constant, there is no weight, there's no force.
Wow, man. Jason, I can lift a weight right now at a constant and it remains at a steady constant with the same weight pressing against the two surfaces.
What gave it weight to begin with?
inertia, whatever it is.
Inertia. So where does inertia come in? Where does inertia? Inertia is the resistance to the motion. So the motion is upward, but it's got a resistance causing it to give it weight downwards. If you have something moving and a resistance, that would mean the acceleration would be the other way.
Jason, matter resists motion in any direction.
Okay. So what gives it weight downward? What gives the weight down on the ground?
Because that's the direction of the earth that's moving, and if the earth was going to the side, then the weight would be there. What are you talking about?
Dude, if the earth is moving at a constant rate and there's a resistance from whatever the medium, that would mean the medium is causing the deceleration. That means your weight would be upward. Like you would have no weight on the ground.
What?
A constant speed is not going to give you any weight.
Explain, Jason.
Okay. An accelerometer, period. An accelerometer. When does the proof mass move to one side? Only with acceleration, not with constant motion.
Jason, change is acceleration.
Okay. So whenever you have an accelerometer moving at a constant speed, the proof mass moves to one side?
If you had an accelerometer moving at a constant speed and then something else came at a constant speed and contacted it, then it's going to displace to that.
Okay, so the resistance is coming from the top, then that proof mass would be pushing against the other side.
Resistance is 360 degrees. It doesn't matter what way you move mass, it resists.
Okay, so what constant speed is going to move that proof mass to one side or the other?
Give me an example. You're so difficult to comprehend because you're just hodgepodging and ad hocing your nonsense, Jason. Explain with some rationale and some practicality, please.
If you have an accelerometer, which is a proof mass that with springs can you let me finish? It detects a change, right?
Yes.
Constant velocity is not a change.
Wow, you're talking about introducing another vector. That's what I'm talking about, where it detects a change.
It detects it. Okay, so the upward vector, whenever the accelerometer is sitting on the ground, what changes is it detecting? It's detecting the constant motion upward or the acceleration upward?
It's difficult to comprehend you because I don't know if you're drawn from an accelerometer with little numbers on a screen that tells you.
It doesn't matter. It could be
It does matter, Jason. It does matter because on a digital accelerometer, it's giving you digital numbers that somebody's programmed in. Whereas if you use a spring and sit it on the table, it compresses to a constant.
He used a spring in his.
No, okay. The accelerometer detects acceleration.
Change.
Okay, so if a constant speed is not a change.
Wow. Oh, jeez, this is incredibly dumb. You are dumb, honestly.
Nobody else is calling you names, dude.
Right.
I don't know why you're doing that.
I'm not calling him names. The content that he's offering is dumb.
He did an experiment.
Hold on. When you show me a constant speed showing a force, then I will agree with you.
Jason, see if you went in a hot air balloon right now and it was rising at 1 mile per hour. Would you feel your own weight beneath your feet?
Yeah, what gave you your weight to begin with?
Jason, if it was moving at 1 mile per hour constant, would you feel your weight, the resistance?
You would feel the same weight you felt when you were on the ground.
Yes, and it's moving at what? A steady constant.
A steady constant that's added to the acceleration of the Earth.
That's
the only way you can have weight to begin with is acceleration.
Here's the point. Jason's got a surface that's moving at a constant velocity increase, right? And you're standing on at the point that you leave, you want to get away from that. You're going to have to go the 1 miles per hour plus increase what the rate of the reference frame is doing in order to escape it. Matter doesn't just spontaneously know that it's to keep gaining velocity on top of the 1 miles per hour in order to escape the Earth.
All it knows is it has weight when it's on the ground. That weight is the acceleration caused by the acceleration. It doesn't know that it has to go faster than that acceleration. You just know that you have a force on the ground. You have to overcome that force. You have to overcome your weight to move up.
So weight, you'd saying weight's directional now?
Do you have weight sideways? Weight is caused by the acceleration upward.
No. Does weight know which direction it's to go in?
Weight is just a resistance to the motion, wherever the change in motion is.
Exactly.
Okay, the change in motion is upward from the ground.
I'm totally lost at what point you're trying to make here.
I'm trying to make, if I have an accelerometer, a bottle of water, the more dense item in the bottle of water goes against the acceleration, correct?
Yes.
Okay, when you set a bottle of water on the ground, where is the water?
What?
Where's the water when you set the bottle of water on the ground? The water's on the bottom.
Yes.
Going against the acceleration. More dense always goes against the acceleration. Less dense always goes with the acceleration. Not with the constant speed.
Nothing's going against the acceleration. It's just inertia. It's resisting the change.
Okay, so if I accelerate that bottle of water up, where does the water go?
Remains exactly what it was.
Okay, because it's accelerating. It stays on the bottom. It stays on the bottom because it's accelerating to begin with.
Right, and now we've got an air bubble rising through that at a steady rate, right? And then we accelerate it up at an increase in velocity. And what happens to the bubble, Jason?
It goes to the bottom because of the acceleration.
No, it goes up at the accelerated rate.
The bubble always goes against the acceleration.
That's what I just said. If we knew accelerate, if we've got a bubble rising through the medium at a steady
and you accelerate it down?
And we accelerate it up, adding to that vector, we see it correlate to the speed of buoyancy. Buoyancy will correlate to the rate of that acceleration.
Okay. So what makes the bubble rise to begin with when it's sitting on the ground? If there's a bottle and you...
If we're just jumping from one thing to another, are we going to make any sense of this? The whole point of this is you've got a faction of people who are saying that the Earth has to constantly accelerate, right? And you've got me on the other hand saying, well, when I see constant increase in velocity and constant acceleration, I see an increase in weight that matches the acceleration, right? So then I make the point. Here's a simple thing. If I've got a constant velocity or an increase in velocity that's happening, and I try and escape that velocity, I would have to keep gaining velocity in order to escape it. This is just simple. If you're racing a car down the highway and you want to catch up with the other one, you have to constantly accelerate in order to catch up with it. If you want to overtake it, you have to keep accelerating in order to escape and make a distance between you and the one that's going at an increase in velocity. So say it's increasing its velocity by 10 miles per hour. Right, then I'm going to have to move faster than that in order to escape it. It's the same here on the surface. If I want to escape the Earth's surface, if it was truly accelerating, i.e. gaining velocity, I would have to get faster and faster in order to get away from it. The fact of the matter is that I can leave the Earth's surface at a steady 1 mile per hour and gain altitude away from the surface, showing you that the surface is not gaining in velocity to catch up to you.
But the accelerometer still shows an acceleration as you move it as a constant speed.
What accelerometer, Jason? Be specific. Which accelerometer?
Any accelerometer, okay?
No,
you can listen. Hey, listen. Let me draw out the example for you.
No. Okay. Let's know.
Let me speak.
I asked you to be specific.
I'm about to. You got to let me speak. You got to let me speak, dude.
Accelerometer, Jason, shows you 9.8 meters per second.
Why don't you let him answer your first question, dude?
Because he's obfuscating. Answer
no, he's not. He's trying to.
Hey, dude, listen. Okay. Do you agree that any object that the bottle of water, do you believe that? Hey.
Chat box. Look at the bitch.
You're cutting him off again, bro. Del, take a breath.
Calm down.
A bunch of fucking inbreeds, that's why.
Just take a breath and let him
Dude,
finish.
If you just went by what you say all the time and that acceleration causes displacement, a water bottle, the water is on the bottom because it's displaced. Because of what? Acceleration, not constant speed. So you're telling me that accelerometers detect constant speed now?
See, if Jason had paid attention, you know, when I'm talking about that, I'm talking about when you change the vector. So when I lift an object up, it's claimed that there's a vector change of something accelerating in the downwards direction. So we should see a reorientation of the accelerometer, the gas, liquid, and the solid, which we don't witness. Now he's trying to use that in some other context. But carry on.
No, you're special pleading if you're trying to get away from that.
How am I special pleading?
Because you say that with an accelerometer, the less dense item moves with the acceleration. Does the less dense item move with a constant velocity?
Again, misquoting me. When the force, whatever direction the force is going in, the orientation shows that the air will move the direction of the force. That's
okay. So you can have a constant velocity with a force.
Jason, are you going to acknowledge what I actually said and correct yourself instead of putting words in my mouth and misrepresenting me, son?
But you're saying accelerometers read one thing, acceleration, but yet when they're on the ground, they're reading a constant motion.
Thanks for the dishonesty, Jason. It's great for you to expose yourself, son. Brilliant. Keep going.
Have you done an experiment or like an observation like he did with to show that what your point is, like, or is it just water bottles and flames?
Oh, it's just what? Oh, so Jason is so sophisticated because he used a pulley system. Yes, we've used pulley systems.
What can you put? Like, I'll send it to me and I'll post it in here. Like, I'll share it for everybody to see.
So I don't need to post anything, right? I'm just going to make a simple point. When you accelerate, increase in velocity, mass resists. Ergo, an increase in weight. That's why we have like rim velocity tests for things like flywheels and cars and other components, because when you put them under conditions of acceleration, the resistance increases and it causes them to shatter. Everybody knows that if you accelerate mass, what we call weight increases. It's simple.
Except for his observation shows that it doesn't increase.
So every other example of proper acceleration shows an increase in weight, but Jason's unaccounted for, which looks like an initial acceleration, then a constant. Somehow that debunks the whole of practical engineering.
It debunks you claiming that it's gonna keep it accelerating, like
that the weight's gonna keep increasing.
Jason, show a specific where you actually showing an increase in velocity exponentially and show us what happens in that result, because I can take you to any aspect of reality, increase the velocity and show you an increase in weight.
Okay. Do you not agree with that things fall at an accelerated rate or the ground meets the object at accelerated rate?
No.
You don't think that at all?
No. Visually, yes. Visually, yes.
Okay, so visually in your reference frame, the ground isn't meeting the object at a accelerated rate?
There's a visual acceleration.
Okay, it is visual, I agree. So, but it is coming together at an accelerated rate.
Yes.
There's no forces acting on that object because you don't see any displacement, you don't see any distortion on the object showing that there's a force pushing it. But there is an accelerated rate between the two objects, correct?
There's no force acting, i.e. something with magnitude and direction.
Right. And I agree with that.
When we recently released default, that's correct, yes. Okay. This is the investigative part where there's a mystery in regards to what inertia actually is.
Okay, so in my example where I have the counterweight coming together with the Earth at accelerated rate or no?
Sorry?
On my example with the pulley system and my counterweight opposed to the scale, does that meet the ground at an accelerated rate? The ground meet that item at accelerated rate or no?
Visually, the two components coming together visually appears like an acceleration, yes.
Okay, without the supposed forces acting on the object.
I don't know, because all it is a visual thing, Jason. There's not even a physical thing. It's a visual thing. Just like I gave you the example of two trains side by side. If you're doing two trains side by side doing 100 miles per hour and you only have an observation of the train to the left of you and that train lets off the power Now as it decelerates and you keep your constant velocity, it looks like an acceleration in the opposite direction.
Right, but you can measure that, and it is an accelerated rate.
How did you measure it?
So you could take a meter stick, a 20-foot long meter stick, and measure time over distance, and it would be an accelerated rate, correct?
Just what the globe does, Jason. Yes, just what the flare is saying.
Okay.
And I've addressed this over and over again, where it's a visual interpretation.
Okay, I agree with you to an extent. So on my example, where the scale is moving up, would that be an accelerated rate or not?
As at the moment of change, there's an initial acceleration. Yes.
Okay, so you don't think that it keeps moving up at accelerated rate as it goes up, as the counterweight goes down with a piece of cable between the two?
Well, put integers on the screen and time it between the integers and see.
Yeah, that's no problem.
Cool. And then we'll set up other apparatus and we'll increase the scale of it and we'll increase the velocities and we'll see what happens, Jason.
Right, and if you have a constant rate of acceleration, the weight will increase, but only increase to a constant, and then it will stay that constant as long as the acceleration stays constant.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. It as crazy as it sounds, it's like you weigh something at 1g here on Earth. If the Earth, if there was 2g, you would weigh double. You wouldn't keep increasing, right? So you agree that 1g is a constant rate of acceleration, correct?
No,
you don't think that that's a constant.
We see 1g.
1g is what they say is 9.8 meters per second per second. That's a constant rate of acceleration.
Mm-hmm.
A constant rate of acceleration gives you a constant weight, a constant mass, a constant. Okay, so if you accelerate something up at say it's faster than 9.8 meters per second, it will still be a constant rate. And so it will still give you a constant weight.
Okay.
Just like I showed.
Yeah, well, let's repeat it.
Okay, yeah, let's do it. I did it 20 times already.
So let's just be clear. So you're asserting that the Earth's velocity is constantly increasing?
At a constant rate, yes.
Is the Earth's velocity constantly increasing?
Yes, constantly increasing at a rate.
Okay. Now if we get a piece of dead matter on there, and we use propulsion to propel it from the surface at 1 miles per hour, how does it gain the added velocity to escape the increase in velocity that's coming behind it?
I don't understand you're trying to correlate something in the reference frame to the acceleration of the reference frame outside of it?
No, it's simple, Jason. If you've got something that's gaining in velocity and you're attached to that thing that's gaining in velocity, and then you become detached from the thing that's gaining in velocity, how do you escape it without adding to your velocity?
You have a constant weight.
Jason, I'm not talking about weight. We're going the same direction. Listen clearly. We're moving the same. We're on the thing that's moving at an increasing velocity, right? It's constantly gaining speed, and we're on it. Now we detach from it, right? And we want to escape it. How do we get the gained velocity to escape it? Where does that come from?
All you know is you're relative to your reference frame. You're not trying to fight. It's not a constant pressure underneath your feet is going to cause an acceleration. Do you not agree with the laws of motion?
Wow, Jason, if
there's a constant force applied to any item is going to be a constant rate of acceleration.
Jason, if I'm on a surface that's gaining in velocity
at a constant rate, your weight will be constant. So all you have to do is overcome the rate.
Listen, I'm not talking about weight. I'm not talking about any of that stuff. We've got a motion of constant increasing speed, velocity. Okay, we're attached to that, as it's gaining velocity. So as it's gained velocity, say it was at 0 and now it's at 100 miles per hour and it's going to keep gaining velocity, and I detach at the point of 100 miles per hour. Now I was doing 100 miles per hour at the point I detached from it, and I want to escape the velocity that's coming at me. I would have to go faster than its velocity. So how do you get that?
Okay, so if I'm in a train accelerating, okay, whatever. If I'm a train accelerating, and I have to, and it's going, 20 miles per hour, whatever. If I have something inside that train, do I have to overcome that acceleration every time I move it? Or is it just like it's a stationary reference frame?
No, Jason, you've jumped to two vectors. Okay, let's just get back to the vertical again.
Okay, go back to a rocket ship.
We're on a rocket, right, that's gaining velocity as it goes up, and I'm standing inside that and it's gaining velocity. And I want to escape the floor of it. Okay? I would have to go faster than the rocket's gaining velocity. I would have to increase my velocity more than what that was in order to escape the floor of it.
I don't agree that you have to fight the acceleration outside of it. I'm not saying about
fighting. I'm not talking about fighting it. I am on the surface, moving upwards at an increasing velocity. So it's getting faster and faster and faster and faster. And at the point I leave the surface, if it was at 100 miles per hour, I was doing 100 miles per hour, but I want to escape its velocity. So I'm going to have to get faster than its gained velocity in order to escape it.
So you think that because it's gaining in velocity, the pressure under your feet is gaining as well?
How is this becoming so complicated? It's very, very simple.
I'm trying to understand as well. Maybe
never mind the weight and the pressure. I'm on the surface, right, and it's gaining in velocity in it. And when it reaches 100 miles per hour, I'm now going to try and escape its velocity. So in order for me to escape its increasing velocity, I'm going to have to increase my velocity more than it to escape it.
You don't know what the velocity is. All you feel is a pressure under your feet. That constant pressure under your feet. Jason, you're not having to worry about the actual velocity.
Jason, I asked you specifically, is it your position that the Earth's velocity is increasing? Yes. Okay.
At a constant rate.
That means at the point that I leave the surface, that was the rate I was at when I left the surface. Now, if I want to escape that velocity that's increasing at my feet, I have to get faster and faster and faster than it's moving in order to get away from it. If we've got two cars side by side, Jason, and they're at 100 miles per hour and they're going to accelerate up to 1,000 miles per hour, okay? And it's a constant acceleration rate up until that 1,000 miles per hour, right? If I'm being pushed by the one at the back that's going at a steady increase in velocity, pushing me up to 1,000 miles per hour, and I want to escape the one that's pushing me, I'm going to have to go faster than its accelerated rate in order to escape it.
Right. So basically, that's like escape velocity.
Yes, because that would happen if the Earth's velocity was increasing. I would have to go faster than that in order to escape it. But yet, here on Earth, I can leave the Earth's surface at a steady 1 miles per hour, steady and gain in altitude.
You can go at a 1 miles per hour, but what does the accelerometer read? It reads an acceleration, doesn't it?
Never mind any of that, Jason. If the Earth was constantly getting faster and faster, just as I gave you the car, two cars, one's pushing the other car from 0 and it's going to go to 1,000 miles per hour. Now, when it reaches 500 miles per hour, I now want to increase the gap between the two cars. So I'm going to have to accelerate away at an increased velocity than this one in order to increase the distance between the two. Now, if the Earth was in that situation and it was gaining velocity and I wanted to escape the ground, I would have to go faster than its velocity increase in order to create a distance between me and the Earth. That's not what we witness in reality, Jason.
Okay, dude.
That's a fact.
Well, all right. We'll just agree to disagree.
It's not agree to disagree. It's a fact, Jason. You can leave the Earth's surface at 1 miles per hour right now and increase the distance between you and the Earth.
All right. Whenever you can show me a constant velocity giving you weight, I'll agree.
So I debunked your whole position with one simple example, and your response to that is to go,
No, I go back to your base premise. Your base premise that says that motion is what gives you weight. So that means the Earth is moving at a constant speed, and that's giving you weight. I want you to show me that.
No. There's another factor that you keep omitting from that, Jason, and that's
which is what inertia. Inertia, which means that the force would be coming from the resistance to the constant speed.
Yes.
Okay. So there is a resistance that you're going through. So the force is actually the resistance.
That would be true, Jason. There would be the vector force, the thing that's moving, i.e. the Earth reference frame, and then that other factor, which is a mystery, that causes what we call resistance or inertia.
Causes resistance. Okay, so if the Earth is moving at a constant through a resistance, then so the acceleration is downward.
No.
No?
Well, did I say that the resistance was acting in a vector down? Did I say that? When I clearly stated
anything else that we can show a constant speed, there's no forces acting on it.
Any vector resistance is there.
So items in free fall have forces acting on them or not?
What do you mean by a force? Something moving in a particular vector?
Yeah.
No? I would say it's a scalar. If you want to use mathematical terms, I would say it's a scalar.
A scalar, but it's decelerating, losing momentum?
Yes.
But accelerometers don't read that.
Well, an accelerometer registers change.
Change. Is
yes.
a constant.
When I'm holding the accelerometer, if you use a digital one, it's registering. Or if I'm holding a bottle with air bubbles rising and I let it go, the air stops moving up through the medium. You're observing a change.
Why is the water at the bottom to begin with? If it's moving, the water is not going to sit at the bottom if it's moving at constant speed. That means there's no force.
Wow, man. What? Oh, jeez, Jason.
The only way to get a force is with acceleration. The only way to read an accelerometer, a change, is with an acceleration, a change in motion.
A change,
not
yes,
a change, right? No, constant speed is not a change.
At the point of change, there's an initial acceleration, yes, at the point of change. Just like when I'm holding an object and I let it go, at the point where the object and the ground meet each other, there's an initial acceleration at that point of contact. It's like if you're standing on the highway, right, and you're standing there stationary, right, and a car comes along at 100 miles per hour and impacts you. As soon as it impacts you, there's an acceleration of your mass up until you reach the constant 100 miles per hour.
Looks like he got disconnected for a quick sec. Are you back, Jason?
Hello, can you hear me?
Hey. Yeah, sorry. It looked like you dropped and came back for a second, so just making sure.
Sorry. No, I'm here.
So sorry, Dale, you want to repeat that last thing? I think you probably missed the last sentence that you said.
I don't know what he caught.
Okay.
I said, at the point of change, there's an initial acceleration. The example I gave was if you're standing, or you're in free fall, or you're just in free space, and something comes along at 100 miles per hour and impacts you. At the point of contact, up until you reach the constant of 100 miles per hour, that's the acceleration.
Okay, what are you relating that to?
Reality.
No, I'm saying like example, like you're saying that the Earth is constantly feeling that our stationary selves trying to reach that constant velocity. And that's why we have weight.
Yes, so because mass or matter resists.
Okay, so it is mass and matter that resists. It's not something else.
No. I'm not saying that. The observation is that mass resists. Right. The cause of that resistance is a mystery.
Okay, I mean, I can agree with that, I guess.
Well, that's the point I'm at. So that's my position. You've got a constant velocity and you've got the resistive factor because the resistance is always there.
So is it not intrinsic to the matter, the resistance, or it's something else?
Well, that's not my position. That's the akin to saying that matter can move because it's matter. It's just the same as saying matter can resist because it's matter. It's the same reasoning.
So
how can inanimate matter act upon itself, Jason?
I don't know. I mean, it can resist motion. Different things resist motion differently, giving it that mass.
You're just saying the same thing. I'm asking you, how can mass act upon itself?
What? Why am I saying mass acts upon itself? If I've got a mass, it's just resisting the acceleration. It's just resisting the change.
How does it resist?
How does your view resist?
No, it's your shtick, Jason. You're the one that's making the claim. How does matter resist?
Well, different pieces of matter have different resistances. So
right.
It's obviously intrinsic to the matter.
Is it? So there we go again. So is it your position then, Jason? Let's just be clear that matter can act upon itself to cause its own resistance.
No, it can resist the motion of the Earth, the change in motion of the Earth, the acceleration of the Earth.
What causes it to resist?
The force.
What causes it to resist, Jason?
The compactness of matter, the mass. I don't know what it is, density. But whatever it is, okay, density, exactly, compactness of matter. That's what's resisting it.
Density is the cause of matter's own resistance.
Okay, so you're saying the resistance in the air, the medium, is what's causing everything to have different weights?
No.
No? Then what's causing everything to have different weights if it's not intrinsic to the matter?
This is part of the mystery, but here's my reasoning, and I'm going to lay my reasoning out. It's my position that matter is dead and animate, cannot act upon itself, cannot move itself, cannot resist, cannot do diddly squat. Matter will only react to external factors. So if I try and move matter, me being an external factor, and that matter resists, then there must be an external factor. That's my reasoning, okay? Because that's what I observe in reality. Now, if you're going to make the statement that matter's causing its own resistance, it's akin to saying matter can cause itself to move.
I can definitely see that different matter has different density and definitely has different resistance to motion, resistance to change in motion.
The question is, Jason, what's the cause of that?
Yeah, the question is, where is the motion coming from? Where is the change in motion coming from? Mm-hmm. So you're saying that it's the medium, or is it the Earth?
Well, I only know human beings to exist in mediums. I'm not one of these people that regresses to a no thing. So I don't think at the base of reality there's a no thing, that matter exists in a vacuum. That's not me, right? I think we exist in a medium, whatever that medium is, and that medium would be the cause of what we call resistance or inertia. If you want to postulate that matter exists solely on its own within a void or a vacuum or something, that's your shtick. That's how you're going to then start saying that matter causes its own resistance. Because if you came and pushed me, then I would have to attach myself to something in order to resist you pushing, right? Because I have to externalize it. Now you're saying that in some sort of space where there is nothing for me to attach to, you come along and push me and I'm going to resist just because I'm a mass. I mean, if that's your reasoning, Jason, that's fine. I think it's totally absurd.
Well, the resistance to motion doesn't require a medium, because like if I'm in a pool or if I'm in a vacuum, the matter resists the acceleration no matter what. Yes,
exactly.
Okay.
Right. So what's causing the resistance?
Does it resist constant speed or constant acceleration?
Stop trying to run away from it, mate. What's causing the resistance?
The matter is causing resistance. Obviously, it's intrinsic. It's that every piece of matter is different. That's what the weights are different. It's got to be intrinsic to the matter to some degree.
It's got to be. Okay, well, in that case, matter moves by its own volition just because it has to.
Okay, well, the resistance acts on every piece of matter exactly different to make everything weigh different masses or whatever?
You can make your own claims if you want. Don't put words in my mouth, Jason.
Okay, so we can just go along and just never know anything or never be able to use anything.
That's not what I said. That's not me. You keep putting words in my mouth. Keep showing me who you are. Keep showing me.
I am who I am. I'm not the one with the insults.
You're insulting me constantly by putting words in my mouth, misrepresenting me. Constantly.
I questioned you.
I questioned you, Jason, and so far I've got nothing but you running about, avoiding it, and making statements like matter causes its own resistance.
I've got demonstrations. What do you got? I got demonstrations showing what I'm saying. What do you have?
Show me a demonstration of a constant increase in velocity with a constant weight, Jason. Keep going.
Already did. Done it.
You want to see it again? I'll play it again here.
That's an inconclusive test. Well, there's an initial acceleration and then it stays at a constant.
You've already moved the goalpost twice. I'll do another one. That's fine.
No.
Does it need to be higher? What's wrong with his observation?
I'll put a measuring device next to it, a measuring tape next to it, and show the velocity change.
How to adults, especially one that's professional mechanic, doesn't comprehend it with an increase in velocity, you get an increase in weight is beyond me.
Are you saying it continually increases? Or are you saying I agree it does increase a little because resistance to change in motion gives you weight?
It went from 6 to 7, and then it stayed at 7 for the whole time. So how much is it supposed, in your opinion, Del? How much?
So did it increase? Did the weight increase?
Yeah, it increased from 6 to 7, and then stayed at a constant.
You made my point.
You said that it keeps increasing. We saw that it doesn't. It stayed at
7.
Because
stops. Because the test stops. Show the velocity increase
longer. So it needs to be
and I guarantee you that the weight is going to keep increasing.
Okay, you can guarantee that. Can you prove it with a test, or do we have to do all the tests for you?
I'll show you tests, Rusted Soul. I'll rub your face right in it. Don't you worry about it.
Well, let's see it. I've seen all of your tests, and none of them are anything like what he's done. So, I mean, I think you're slacking. I think you're slacking when it comes to your testing and whatever this nonsense that you're spewing. It's embarrassing.
You should stick to bitching about other people. You should stick to bitching about other people and making hit piece videos about fucking final experiments and whatever else. You should just stick to that.
What is your?
Maybe you should stick to the topic here, bro.
Oh, I'm sorry I insulted your wee bum licker. Sorry about that, Jason. Sorry about that, sir.
You're cool, dude. Let's stick to the topic. Where's your demonstration?
So far,
where's your demonstration?
Matter resists itself, and you wouldn't need to increase your velocity.
And constant velocity gives you your weight. Okay,
Jason. If the Earth was moving at an increase in velocity, I would have to increase my velocity in order to escape it. That's a fact, son.
Okay. Show me your constant velocity giving you weight. Show me constant velocity of the Earth giving you your weight.
I can leave the Earth's surface at 1 mile per hour and increase my altitude away from the surface of the Earth, showing you that the Earth's velocity is not increasing.
Okay, show me.
Hey, worries. No problem.
All right, got it. Sweet.
All right. Sweet. Cheers for the shit show. Cheers for showing me who you are. A bunch of divisive little cretins here to cause nothing.
Divisive because you couldn't do an observation yourself. Like, how is it that you've been in this for years? Jason's barely in this, and he's already showing you that what you've been saying is not true.
There's a plethora of practical tests. How come is it you cretins just appear from nowhere and try and hijack it?
Nowhere. I've been here for a decade, bro. What do you mean from nowhere? Go back and look. My first video was like 8 years ago. I'm not from nowhere.
So, and all you've done for a decade is bitch about other characters and create cults of personality. That's what your content is.
Okay, show me your observations or admit that this isn't working for you, dude. Like, you can try to keep repeating the same stuff, like the same thing, same words, but you're not showing us. Show us with a practical demonstration, and then we'll agree with you. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense for you to keep making claims without showing it. So in his demonstration, it just needs to be higher.
Where's your tests?
He's showing his test. That's why I have him on right now. That's why I'm wondering, where's your test?
We've got tests.
Yeah, I don't have access to a big crane and like a shop like he does. I don't know how high up it is. It looks like it's probably like 30
people in glass houses and all that, Rusty. So don't sit there telling people they should do this and that when you've done fuck all but talk shite about people for 10 years. You're clown.
Okay. All right.
Ah,
So
okay.
I've
You're a
done fuck
clown.
all. No, you're right. I have done fuck all. I haven't done an experiment
Yeah,
like
that's
him.
right.
But
You're a fucking
I'm not
idiot.
here. All right, dude. I'm just hosting this because I'm interested in the topic. So,
It's not because you love
everybody that's in
drama.
the so
You're hosting it. You're hosting
anybody
it because you love
anybody
drama.
anybody that's in the topic, like, no, if I was all about the drama, like, I mean, it doesn't matter, whatever, fine, I'm about the drama. Anyways, my point is, I'm interested in the topic. So anybody that's interested in the topic, do they have to do demonstrations for them to be able to talk to you, or how does this work? Because so far he's done 2 different observations. He's shown you exactly what he's showing you everything. Like, I don't understand. Like, he's being totally transparent. He's talked to you in private several times about it. You wanted to keep talking to him in private about it because you were afraid to come in and talk to him. And clearly I can
No,
see why, because you just
no.
talk in circles,
You
repeating
know
the same
why?
thing over and over again.
Because here's the thing. I recorded my conversation with Jason, and the reason I didn't want it out in public is because bitches like you and all these clowns that don't have a clue in the chat creating some drama. And that's what your intent is to create drama, to keep division going so that people don't have
It's
any
not
productive.
division. It's
Shut
trying
up.
to
Shut
clarify.
up. Right. I had a cordial discussion with Jason, and I'll show it to everybody to shut you the fuck up. You, on the other hand, are nothing but a sweetie mouth that loves drama, which is why you wanted it on here on your shitty little channel so you can make yourself relevant. I'm not interested in Joe Blog's public.
He asked if he could go on your channel or Williams, and you guys didn't respond. And then when you did respond, you said, let's keep it private because you're embarrassed to talk about this in public because you've been spewing nonsense for years.
Is that right?
And now you're getting called out on it with demonstrations.
Is that
He's
right?
using
Well,
your
that's
own
good.
words against
That's
you,
good.
and then you want to cry about it and act like a baby and throw out insults to people. It's, yeah, okay.
That's good, because I've recorded this and I recorded the last one with Jason. I'm going to match the two of them up and show you what a clown you are. Because I spoke to Jason and explained why I don't want this happening like this with drama and adding to the drama.
It's not drama.
It is. You love drama.
How is this
Your
drama?
channel's just full of drama.
Him doing an experiment and doing an observation is drama. Him showing you, because you don't want to see it. That's why it's drama. Because it's proving you wrong.
Why am I here?
It's drama.
Why
are you here? I don't. Yeah, because we called you out because you didn't want to come. You tried every which way in the DMs to not come in here. That you finally did come in because you were about to get called out, so you had to save face. But let's be real, dude. Like, you've been avoiding this publicly. You talk shit. You and William talk shit. Okay.
Here's the narcissism. Here's the narcissism. We called you out. Listen, you're irrelevant to me. I do not give a fuck about you or Jason or anybody on here. I'm here. This is my family. This is my real life. You're not special and entitled. So why?
I don't think I'm special or entitled. So if you're done, then be done. And I'll show the videos of you talking shit because that's all that you know how to do. And thanks for coming on. Have a good day. Bye-bye. All right, so that was ridiculous. I'm just going to show Jason's video from front to back because we never even got to do that because Dell just came in hot. So here we go.
Oops. Just wanted to make a short little video, kind of lay out my thoughts on the upward vector being either a constant velocity or a constant acceleration. I'm not here to cause any division, muddy the waters, or cause or stir up any drama. I'm just trying to figure out the nature and mechanics of our reality. Let's think about how accelerometers work. Analog or digital, accelerometers detect or measure a change in motion. If the Earth is moving up at a constant velocity, objects in free fall are actually decelerating or losing momentum until the constant velocity of the Earth catches up to the object. Why are these decelerating objects not detecting or measuring any signs of acceleration? If accelerometers detect change in motion, acceleration, but do not detect a change in motion on objects losing momentum or decelerating in free fall, then on top of that, I use an accelerometer to detect constant velocity of Earth rising.
The idea of the upward vector is simply this. There has to be a force in the vertical domain. There has to be a force. For those who claim there's no force, that argument doesn't get off the ground. So that force has to be either in the downward vector or the upward vector. And only one of those is demonstrable. And believe it or not, as incredible as it sounds, the force is demonstrably in the upward vector. Now, there's a lot of ways we can go about to demonstrate this objectively with practical demonstration, but this is simply the way it is due to inertia and the way that multiple states of matter react when there's a change in motion. You can see this demonstrated when you look at multiple states of matter like water, air, and a solid. You could even look at it with a candle flame.
I'm just going to address something else quickly. We have factions of people who always come in and try and, cause factions between people in any given topic. Now, in this topic, we've got a faction of people claiming that the Earth's velocity must be increasing. It has to be an accelerating Earth reference frame. Okay? Now, these people have been addressed, and I'm going to make another quick point just to totally dispel these idiotic, silly, childish notions from people with incredulity and whatever other nonsense goes on in their mind. Now, if you have a reference frame, right? We'll just say it's a box, and this reference frame is going in that direction, right? And you're here on the surface of this. Now, these people that keep asserting that the Earth has to be accelerating, we'll get to the other aspects of that later on, but this is just to totally disband the idiotic notion that anybody can test for themselves. Okay? Now, if I have another reference frame, right? I have a little observer in there, and that reference frame is going at a constant. Right, we'll say it's doing 100 miles per hour. Right, that means that the reference frame, all its contents, you within it, are doing 100 miles per hour. Okay.
If we have a reference frame, just draw the box like you did, with a reference frame going 100 miles an hour this direction, and everything in it is going 100 miles per hour, like you showed. If he's going 100 miles per hour, the box is going 100 miles per hour, everything in it is going 100 miles per hour. Why is he at the bottom to begin with? If it's everything's moving this way at 100 miles per hour, what keeps him to the bottom of the reference frame? I thought that mass is a resistance to acceleration. If everything's going the same speed, there's nothing, he can't resist anything because he's going the same rate as everything else. So he would, in my opinion, he would not have weight. He would not be pushed to this side of the reference frame if everything was going 100 miles per hour. There would be no force here. There would be nothing pushing on him. That's why there has to be an acceleration from the bottom. And acceleration is what gives you mass, like the resistance to acceleration, the resistance to change in motion. Like there would be no resistance. If everything is moving 100 miles per hour, there would be no resistance.
In this scenario here, if I wanted to now elevate upwards at, say, 1 miles per hour in relation to the reference frame, I would now be, if I wanted to go at 1 miles per hour up the way here, right? What would happen is that as I go 1 miles per hour, the gap between me and the surface is going to increase. And I'm going to get further and further and further away from the surface. Okay? And that can be done in reality. I can move upwards at 1 miles per hour, and the gap between myself and the surface increases, and I will get further and further and further and further away from the surface. Okay? Now, if you're in a reference frame that's in constant acceleration, that being increase in velocity, right? So your reference frame has to get faster and faster and faster and faster and faster. Then me as the observer trying to move 1 miles per hour away from the surface, you would never achieve it because you would have to be adding on the accelerated rate of your reference frame to your 1 mile an hour exponentially in order to get a distance away from the surface of the supposed accelerating Earth. Total and utter nonsense.
Are you saying that if you have a reference frame, so this box is the reference frame, it's accelerating at whatever rate, but it's accelerating, meaning faster and faster in velocity. So 9.8, 10 meters per second squared, whatever. Are you saying that if I had an elevator inside this reference frame, that it would not be able to separate from the bottom of the reference frame going at 1 miles per hour? Anything inside the reference frame has to be compared to the reference frame. The 1 miles per hour isn't compared to the acceleration of the reference frame. It's only being compared to in relation to the reference frame. So maybe I misunderstood what you were saying, but you can easily move at a constant rate inside of an accelerated reference frame. Whenever you move at a constant velocity inside of an accelerated reference frame, it is an acceleration. So that the constant velocity does add to the acceleration, in which it makes it an acceleration. And that's exactly what we see whenever we're in an elevator moving up at a constant velocity. It is an acceleration. You're still at the bottom of the elevator as you're moving up at a constant velocity. Bottle of water, the water still stays at the bottom whenever you're moving up at a constant velocity. It's still an acceleration. That constant velocity is added to the acceleration.
Now, what happens here in the upward vector? Now, if I've got two side by sides, right, and I move one at a steady rate, right, what happens is you get a steady pressure, you get a steady reading of weight, a steady resistance. Now, if I take another one with a 1 kilogram weight and I constantly accelerate it up the way, I get a constant increase in weight, constant increase in weight, constant increase in weight.
Again, the people that are claiming acceleration, like Ken, he claims that the Earth is moving up, but it's constantly accelerating. So I don't know where the fuck he gets that claim from, because obviously our weight will have to be increasing, into infinity. Actually claiming that it's a constant acceleration. To me, they're either dumb, like dumb as fuck, or they're literally deliberately just muddying the waters.
The weight as it goes up at a constant acceleration. Still working on some more tests with the stepper motor, but in the meantime, I did a test, basically just dropping a counterweight with a scale and a proof mass, an accelerometer also on the other side. As it goes up, definitely an acceleration, constant acceleration. How the proof mass does initially move up in weight, but then stays constant as it's still accelerating up. Definitely showing that the acceleration up does not continually increase your weight.
Constantly accelerate it up the way, I get a constant increase in weight, constant increase in weight, constant increase in weight.
All right, so that was the video. Finally got to share it, so that's awesome. I am sad that Dell had to come in hot. I thought that video was done really well. I didn't think that Jason was being rude or calling any names. He was just, so far, all the things that I've seen from him was just him posting what other people are saying and then responding to it without using insults and with using actual demonstrations, which is the thing that Dell is constantly telling us to do. So yes, I have not myself done any of these tests, so apparently I'm not allowed to have an opinion on it, but I do think it's interesting that, Jason does have these observations and is actually doing stuff in the real world with his at his mechanic shop. He's actually able to do more than most people are able to do. The first one was, I think, like a few feet off the ground, and Dell said that it wasn't high enough. So then he took it up as high as he could go in the shop, and apparently that still isn't high enough. So yeah, I guess back to the drawing board to make Dell happy since he keeps moving the goalpost. But at some point, he's going to have to admit he was wrong, or he's just going to keep on spewing the shit that he spews. Um, yeah, to each their own. You know, I think that like stalagmites and stalactites are a pretty good observation as to why I think that it's moving upward. I tried to share pictures on here, but apparently it has to be in like video form. But I noticed the bubble, when you have the bubble going up in the bottle, it's flat on the bottom. Same with clouds being flat on the bottom. So yeah, maybe I'm a crazy shill because I believe in upward Earth. I just think that we shouldn't be divisive about it, like he's claiming we're being, and look at the evidence that we're, you know, the tests say everything in my opinion, and it makes more sense that it would be accelerating. But I'm not going to sit here and call anybody names if you don't agree with me. So far there's only 3 of us in the community that believe this, so I'm okay with being one of those 3. I was never into flat earth because it was a popular topic or to gain any, like, you know, any followers. I might lose followers because of this. I really don't care. I'm not here to build a channel, even though that's what it looks like, because I'm all about the drama or whatever. You know, I notice things that other people haven't been making videos about, so then I make a video about it. I stopped making videos for a long time because life, you know, things happen, and I'm still not even trying to keep making videos. This is just something that interests me, and I don't see other people covering it. I see the upward earth people talking down on the 3 of us that think it's accelerating, and I think that it should be talked about. It shouldn't just be kept in the DMs, and we shouldn't just be belittled and called trolls just because we think differently. um, but yeah, I mean, make up your own mind. I really don't care. But Jason had a customer because he's at work right now, so he's doing his mechanic thing right now. He said he'd jump in later, but I think it's going to be a while till, I'm not sure. So anyways, I'm just going to end the stream because I don't have anything else to say about this. And, you know, thanks to everybody for coming on. I found it to be pretty interesting and entertaining. So yeah, maybe we'll do this again. Maybe we won't. I don't know. We'll see. If anybody else has any good ideas for other things that they feel like talking about and other channels won't cover it, you know, I'm down to cover it, see where it goes. Anyways, y'all have a good day, good night, whatever. Peace.